What's going on, Feed the Beasters? JD here with the next episode of JD Plays Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert Mode, and we're doing something different. We're doing some silly server setup stuff. So yeah, we got a little putty remote shell remoted into a little server droplet that I've got set up, and we're gonna set up a Feed the Beast server right quick for Infinity. For those of you who don't know how, and I'll give you a little visual tutorial. And I'm not the best in the world at this, but should be able to get it done. You know, should be fun. So first things first, we need to know what directory we're in, and we can do that by typing in ls. Now, if you happen to have no directory selected at the moment, you might be in an even higher directory than this. This says nothing, just cd this, and you'll drop into your user directory. Now, I'm using root. It's generally advisable if you don't know what you're doing, don't use root. You want to use an actual user account because you can do some serious damage to your server when messing around with it as a root user. So I've already got some folders created. I've got evolved backup, evolved pub, home. So let's get rid of these right quick. So first thing let's do rm, that means remove, -r, that means recursively, evolved underscore pub. And what that means is that if say I want to, in Windows, you know, when you delete a folder, it deletes everything that's in that folder. In Linux, if there's stuff inside of a directory, a folder, it won't allow you to delete it unless you do it recursively. And what that means is it goes all the way through the file structure to the very lowest part of it and starts deleting from there and gets rid of every single file and then the folder that those files were in and works its way back to the top. So if we do ls again, you'll notice that this evolved pub that was here is gone now. Okay. So now let's make a new directory, mkdir evolved pub. And if we do ls, you'll see it's back. And if we want to go into that directory, we can just cd evolved pub. And there's nothing in this directory right now. This is where we want to get our server and start getting things set up. So we want to type in wget and the URL to our server that we want to download. Or if you happen to have it, you can transfer it in. You know, there's lots of ways to transfer it in. But we're going to go get the 2.2.2 server that's the current recommended version from the launcher. So I'm just going to right click. I've copied that from Windows. I'm right clicking and pasting it in. So wget, it's going to go and grab this. It's going to download it. So it's done. So if we hit ls right now, we'll see we have a zip file. Now that zip file is red. That means that this is an archive. We can unzip that in place right here very easily by just doing unzip FTB Infinity server.zip. And it's going to unpackage everything. It's going to inflate it all. Okay, let's type in clear and clear our screen. And so now we've got all of these things in our window. What are these things? Well, the blue ones are directories. This is the config directory. Here's some more blue ones that are config directories. The red ones are archives. So here's a zip, here's a jar. The white ones are various file types. So here's a .sh, that's a shell file. Here's a .bat, that's a batch file. Now these are for Windows really, and we don't need those. And the shell files, as our settings, various different things. So let's do a little cleanup on this directory right quick. First thing, let's get rid of all of these bat files because we don't really need these bat files for anything. At least nothing that I can think of off the top of my head. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to enter this little command. And this says find within this directory files or things that are of the type file and that have the name anything.bat. And then with the pipe, after that, execute argument rm. Rm stands for remove. So it's going to find anything that ends in a .bat. And be careful where you execute this because it's going to search from the directory you're in all the way recursively. So if you're in the topmost directory, it will delete every single bat file on your system. You might not want that to happen. Then again, you might. But I'm going to execute this. So I've executed it, and if I hit ls now, you'll notice that feed the beast install bat's gone, server start.bat's gone. It's just me being lazy. That's all that is. Okay? So I've gotten rid of those. Now I know that when you're setting up a feed the beast server, they want you to open this eula.txt and read it. And to prove that you've read it, they've got a little setting in there that says eula equals false. And until you change that to eula equals true, it's not going to let you go forward with launching your server and doing things. Well, me being the truly lazy person that I am, and me liking to automate things, I'm just going to use a little command here. Find, within this directory, a file whose name is eula.txt, and execute this sed command using the optional parameters of I and R to search for the word false and replace it with the word true. So there we go. I've updated my EULA without opening the EULA because I'm lazy. Alright, so we're going to ls again right quick. Alright, here we are. And just to prove to you that I did update the EULA text, we can open it with Nano or Vim or whatever. There's lots of different little text editors in Linux that you might use, but there's my EULA. It says true. Okay, Control X. Alright. So at this point, there's a lot of different things we can do, but you notice we have this install.sh and we have this server zip and we have another server thing here and we've got some libraries, modpack mods. Oh, server start, that's what we want, right? Well, it would probably be intelligent to run this first. So what happens when we try to run that? Well, to run that, we would want to do, and capitalization does matter here. We want to do something like this. Permissions denied? What? I'm the root. I can do whatever I want. If you want to make a file executable, you need to change some things. For us, we want to do chmod plus x FTB install.sh. Oops, I'm sorry, that's supposed to be a small x. I made a mistake. My bad. Like I said, I'm not a Linux pro, I just know enough to get myself in trouble. So chmod plus x feed the beast install.sh. And now, look, it's green! We have changed the permissions on that file to make it executable. Well, we're probably going to want to do the same thing to this server start.sh. So let's do that right quick. chmod plus x server start.sh. And there we go. They're both green now. Beautiful. I don't even know what's in that settings. Let's look. Settings.sh. Now what sh files are, they're shell files, and they're basically a script that we can execute and have different things happen. And this one's looking to check, are we on MC version 1.7.10? What is the Minecraft jar file? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. Not too worried about that. Let's run this FTB install.sh. Now, the syntax for this says that in this directory, execute this shell command. So we'll run that, and it's going to do some stuff. And it went and checked out, made sure that our libraries were up to date, that our launch wrapper was up to date, all that good stuff. Nothing really has changed within the directory. We've got, it did go and grab the Minecraft server jar, and that's about it. Okay? So at this point, we can probably go ahead and start the server up for the first time. So let's do that. Server start.sh. And it's going to start up. It's going to run all kinds of crazy stuff. And this takes a minute, so we're just going to kick back and hang out. I'm going to have me a nice little sip of iced tea. Ah, delicious. Just like me. And it's basically going through, registering all the different mods, looking for any type of unification, like the liquid registration and your different, or like for example, some mods will let you choose within their config file. I prefer to use industrial craft metals whenever I can't remember which mod it is. I think immersive engineering. It's got certain ingots that belong to it as a mod, but then there are other ingots that it can actually create, and it gives you the option to choose. For what mod would you prefer your ingot type to be? And I think they have their set to industrial craft. You can change this kind of stuff in the config files if you want. So here, broken ore dictionary registration with the name seed rye has occurred. It adds an item, blah, blah, blah. All that's being cleaned up. Actually, those are apparently bugs that need to be reported. Fun stuff. Now, I'm not too really worried about any kind of add-ons that. I mean, I say this with take it with a grain of salt. I'm not overly worried about any add-ons that fail right now, and there are some that are failing. Uh, because this first run, we're wanting it to generate certain files that currently we don't have, and then once that's done, we'll set those files up the way we want them. We'll actually end up deleting this world that it's going to generate, and we'll regenerate a new world. Look, JD's Bibliocraft. Although I am noticing a lot more mod failures this time than I have previously. It's kind of interesting. Okay, mods are done being loaded, and right here we have preparing spawn area. So at this point it's generating our world. Now technically we could log into this world now. And it says, oh, I can't keep up. System time change. Server's overloaded. I'm running 2,644 milliseconds behind. Skipping 52 ticks to catch up. If your server starts doing a lot of this, you got something wrong. But it's pretty typical, especially the first time that you run this startup, for that to happen. And it's going to happen depending on the server and depending on certain settings. Sometimes you'll see that message all the time and there's nothing to worry about. Other times you'll never see it. So now let's look inside of our directory. Let's clear this out, ls. And now we've got a lot more stuff in our directory. So with that startup happening, it's added a lot of things. It's added this ASM folder, these blueprints, banned IPs, banned players, ops, server properties, settings, user cache, whitelist, all this other stuff. Okay. The one that we're currently really kind of interested in right here is this server properties. All right. Now somewhere over the rainbow I have a file that I want to open. And it's in FileZilla, and we're going to go to May Backup, and let's view and edit. Okay, there we go. So let's nano server.properties. And this is the server properties for our server. Okay, you can do all kinds of things in here. The areas that we're interested in is we do want the nether to be true. We do want the level name to stay world because that allows us to do certain things. Now you can change that if you want, but just be aware you've changed it. Allows player achievements, why not? Here you can change your server port if you need to. Level type. This is the first one that I want to actually change. And I don't want it to be default when I generate my world because that's boring. I want it to generate my world using biomes plenty. So I'm going to change that one. Enable icon, force game mode, it's going to do that anyways. Level seed, I could give it a level seed. I'm not going to give it a level seed. I'm going to leave the level seed alone. I'm going to let it just generate a random one. We'll do force game mode, why not? And no, we won't mess with it. Server IP, I strongly advise against setting a server IP right here. It's going to cause you more harm than good. So don't set a server IP right here. Max build height, I don't generally mess with this. Spawn NPCs, true. Now for our server, for the one that's coming up, we absolutely want it to be whitelist. I only want to allow players on that I want to be on. Okay. Snooper enabled, true. Online mode, true. This means that cracked clients can't join my server. I like that. I don't want cracked clients on my server. I paid for it, so can you. Sorry, man. PvP, true. This is something that me and the community are going to have to talk about as to whether we're going to leave this active. As of right now, I am betting and I am leaning towards this is going to be false. We're not going to have PvP enabled on the server. I love PvP. I am all for it. I love killing people. It's a lot of fun. I love taking all their stuffs. But it's probably better in a pack like this not to have that enabled, and especially on a server where people are contributing to paying for it. It's just, it can ruin somebody's day really quick and make them not want to take part anymore, so we're not going to do that most likely. Now difficulty, I set this to 3. This puts the server into hard mode. If the server's on hard, doesn't matter what you set your client to, the server's on hard and it's running the game, so you're playing on hard. So there we go. Now your max number of players what I would do is whatever size server you have. So for example, the server this is running on is 4 gigs of RAM. I would probably not allow more than 10 players on a server with 4 gigs of RAM with this pack. So we're going to set, even though I know nobody's going to log in here, we're just doing this for, I can't even think of the word I'm trying to use right now. But anyways, for the sake of completeness, we'll call it that. So I'm going to set this to 10. And here we can set a player idle timeout, meaning if a player's just standing around doing nothing, and there's other people that want to get on your server, but you only allow 10 at a time, you might want to have this idle timeout turned on, where it kicks people off the server for you. And I mean, there's ways that they can work on getting around that, and there's always an escalation that starts there. Well, I'll just create a macro that makes me move every now and then so that you can't kick me off. And then somebody comes along and says, well, I'll just use this mod that detects whether you're actually there, you're just jumping every so often to keep yourself on, and blah blah blah. Anyways, not going to go too deep into that, whatever. That's what that does. We do want it to spawn monsters. We do want it to generate structures. Now, if you're having issues with server performance, this setting is something that you can actually adjust to get a little more out of it. I believe the max you can set it to is either 14 or 15. I'm going to leave it set at 10, and this determines, regardless of the client settings, how far the render distance is from a player, and therefore how many chunks will be loaded, and etc. etc. Even though the server is going to automatically load X number of chunks for every player, it does help with performance on the server side to not have this set to 15. And then the message of the day is obviously what you see when you log in. So this is the server properties for our server. So let's save those. Control X. Save modified buffer. Right down here is where we want to look. We want to hit yes. We want it saved. And we want to save with the same name. So enter. So now our server properties have been updated. Well, that's great. There's just one problem. Those server properties weren't used to generate the world we just generated. So we need to remove that world. So rm remove. Remember, it's a directory. So actually, let's go into it real quick. CD world. So if we look in here, there's lots more directories. There's different dimensions. Dimension 1, dimension 100, dimension 19. All these blue texts are directories. And they have stuff inside of them. That's bad for us because we would have to go through and delete each one. And if we try, we'll just go up one level. So if I try to remove world, it's going to tell me world is a directory. I can't get rid of it. There's still stuff inside of it. The only way I can delete a directory is if there's nothing inside of it. So instead we do rm minus r meaning recursively, and then tell it to delete world. And now it's going to go once again through every single directory and get rid of each file until it can delete the directory. So if we ls again, world is now gone. Okay. So we want to generate a new world. Now before I do that, I want to set up something in my whitelist. So nano whitelist.json, and this is kind of new. I didn't realize they had changed this to a JSON file, but I'm guessing we just want to put our name in the brackets. That's what I'm hoping. So I'll have to do some checking up on this, but we want to save that, because if I don't have that saved, it's not going to allow me to log into the world. So there's our whitelist, and now we want to run server start.sh, and that's going to start our server up again. And this will take it a whole minute again. So guys on the stream, how are all y'all tonight? The only one talking is Mr. Deadeye. As I was talking to Drago and everyone earlier, I'm planning on getting the whitelist server available within the next, I don't know, 24 to 72 hours. So that's coming very soon. And what I'm doing tonight is, since we're in the process of getting ready to have a new server open, that means I'm obviously going to have to be starting over, so there's not much point continuing off my world. So I figured I'd show people how to set up a server and to do different things on it. I think we may also do some speed runs just for a little bit and see how fast I could possibly advance. I think my webcam is still on. Hang on. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Anyways, we may do some speed runs in a local world or something and just see how fast we can advance when I'm not, taking the time to be real super tutorialistic about things. Is my cam still on? That doesn't make sense. Cam mode. The cam's not on. I guess it's just going to stay on until I change it. Whatever. A broken dictionary registration with the name list all milk has occurred. It adds an item of this type, which is currently unknown to the... I lost it. I was reading it and it went away. Found nugget, iron, copper, tin, silver, lead, diamond. Ooh. Disable nugget, diamond. Disable nugget, emerald. Disable nugget, apatite. I am streaming the actual server. What do you mean am I streaming off of the server, Deadeye? Oh my goodness, I wonder what that was that just crashed. I'll have to go check. Yeah, I'm going to be doing my Let's Play series on the new server. That way I figured I could, go around, show off stuff that other people are building sometimes. See what everybody else is doing. Adds more content for the viewers. And the Patreon is all set up, guys. Whoops, didn't mean to click that. Need to click... You can either access it by scrolling down on the page, or you can visit this link. But the Patreon is up. As of right now, there are a total of... I think it was last time I checked, $165 in pledges. So I'm looking at doing probably an $80 a month for a server. And that gives us, if everybody comes through on what they pledged, at least 2 months of server expenses will be covered. If people start trying to grief me, it's all good. They contributed to the server. I'll just ban them, and that'll be a waste of their money. And life will go on. I'm going to go through and set up some very precise backups and restoration procedures where if somebody does decide to grief something, I can very easily roll it back to where it was. Okay, so our server is up. It just finished generating our world, so if we come in here, there we go. The server's online. It allows 10 people. This check mark means we are compatible, so we should be able to join, as long as I didn't screw up the whitelist. Okay, so I did screw up the whitelist. I don't know how they've set this up with JSON, so I need to look into this. Now, that's okay, though, because that brings us to another issue here. Screen. Well, actually, we should just be able to Control A, D. Now, the server is currently running in this window. Whoops. And if I close this window, the server's going to die. Well, that sucks. We just got it all started up. What do I do? Well, we're going to have to stop it again, unfortunately. But it's not going to be as bad as you might think. What we should have done is before we started it up, we should have entered this lovely command called screen. And this opens basically a instance of a session that allows us to run headlessly, and it will run I'm losing my vocabulary to tell you exactly. Basically, if the window closes, this instance will remain open and continue to run. Okay, so here's where we actually want to launch our server from. So ls server start.sh. Now that's going to go through and it's going to do the whole setup process again, but we're not going to watch it. I'm going to let it get started. Okay, so I'm going to hit Control A and then D. I'm still holding Control, and that's going to exit out. Now that screen is still running, but I can still use my server to do other things while that's running. Like I can do top right now, and I can look at the top memory usage, and there's Java right up there. Control Z will get you out of top, by the way. How's it going, Fody? So the server is starting back up, but it's not affecting me. Now I can go back and look at that screen at any time just by doing screen -R. And oh, I've got 2 detached sessions here. Which one is it? Okay, well let's do screen -R 21371. That's the PID. That's this number right here. Let's go see what's in here. Well, in here, this is a server starting up. Nice. Okay. Well, screen minus ls. What's the other one? Screen minus r20520. Oh, well, this is an exited session. This one's not doing so good. Okay. So what I probably should do, rather than leaving that second one running, is get rid of it. So we'll do screen minus x 20520. Actually, it's xs 20520. Kill. And now if we look, that secondary session that was there is gone, and we don't have to worry about it any longer. And screen is kind of awesome. It's kind of like a terminal or a mux, but different. But it allows you to do a lot of things that you need to have persistent. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Persistently running in the background and not clutter up your SSH session that you're currently working through. This screen you're looking at is an SSH session. So Minecraft server starting up. We still can use the server for whatever we need to do. Let's see. Is it up yet? It's not, I doubt, but we can check. We can click refresh. Nope, it's not ready to go. Now, we probably are going to want to do some type of backups for this server. And we're going to want to do so in a way where, as was already brought up by one of the guys on my stream, he said, hey, I didn't think you were going to be streaming from the server because you don't want people griefing you. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take backups probably every 30 minutes to an hour. And we're going to do these backups in a fashion that's incremental. Meaning that at any time, if I need to restore the server, I can restore back to that specific point. And even though I'm taking a whole lot of backups of the server, they're not going to get massive in terms of file storage because I'm only taking a backup of things that have changed on the server. I'm not backing up the entire server every time. So the very first full backup will take place. And then from that point forward, we'll do incremental backups. And we'll store our backups for, I don't know, a week to 2 weeks at a time. And at that point, anything older than a week to 2 weeks, we'll go ahead and get rid of. And that's how we'll handle it. So if we go up a directory from where we're at right now, we have our actual servers in this directory. And then we have this backup directory right here. So I could very easily back up everything that's in here very quickly. Let's see. I just had it on the screen what I was going to do. And there's a lot of commands to remember here. But when it comes to using Linux and you have no idea what you're doing, Google is your friend. Okay? It's your friend. So let's do a simple one. I just got to find it right quick. Okay. So what we want to use is rsync baby from evolved underscore pub into evolved underscore backup. Okay? And it's going to go through and it should synchronize recursively those two folders. So let's cd evolved underscore backup ls. There's evolved pub. Okay, let's cd evolved underscore pub ls. There's our entire Minecraft directory. That's awesome. Alright, so let's cd up one directory and let's zip this. Forgot you can't do it like that. Zip. We'll just do evolved underscore. Hold on, I forgot the command here. Zip's kind of weird in Linux for some reason. We want to zip. Yeah, okay. Zip minus r. We'll just do zip evolved underscore pub dot zip. Oh, scheiße. Really? I can't remember how to use zip. Hang on. It's been so long since I've done this. There we go. apparently I don't know what I'm doing, and I just did this earlier. Is it really going to make me do it recursively? There we go. I had to do it recursively. So the command right here, well, I'll just display the command in a second. So it's zipping everything up. Alright, so if we ls now, whoops, I did that in my stream chat. Now we have evolved pub and evolved pub zip. So the command we had to run was zip with the recursive parameter, and we had to give it a file name, and we had to tell it where to go. And if you do dot, it means in the current directory. So now that I have this zip, I don't need that anymore. So we can just come back in here and do an rm evolved underscore pub. And of course, because it's a directory, got to do it recursively. And now I've got my server backed up. So in the backup, there is a perfect replica of evolved pub as it stands right now. Now let's see. The server should be ready. Let's see. Okay, it's ready. And I can actually close my window now and everything will be golden. Now all of these things that I'm doing, they could be turned into shell scripts, those .sh files. And I could set them up with cron to run on a schedule. So I can set that exact command, this command, rsync, to back up that directory to the other directory anytime I want to. And cron will come in, it'll run the script for me, it'll do that. I can have it remove the old folder, I can have it do the zip, the whole 9 yards, and you have automated backup. And it's not very difficult to do the incremental restoration. Just read the man pages on rsync. It's a very simple program to use. But let's take a look at our new world. Oh, I'm not whitelisted. I forgot to update my whitelist. Hang on. Now this, updating this, should not require a server restart. So if we come into cd evolved underscore pub and we nano whitelist.json. Okay, so I'm not sure how this is supposed to work now. Let me look at how you use this one, because I haven't used whitelists since like before Feed the Beast even existed. But it should be pretty simple. So give me just a second here. So we need a Minecraft username. We know mine, it's JDon77. And for that, we're going to need a UUID. And so apparently this is the appropriate format. So let's get rid of this. So there's a new format for this file, apparently. So we need the open bracket, close bracket, and this is where they're all going to be contained. And then inside of this, you're going to need some braces. You're going to want to tab those over, probably, to keep everything nice and neat. And in here, you're going to want two things. You're going to want a UUID, colon, and then we're going to need to get that UUID. And there are a lot of different websites that will do that for you. So we're just going to use this one. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, are you kidding me? It's not going to let me paste that one in? What a cheap bitch. Alright, let's go over here. We'll do 604C418F-9D35 dash. Where was I? Oh, right there. 4F2A dash B005 dash 940 E3B56BEAB. Quote. Okay. And then we want a comma. Enter. This is way more difficult than it used to be. Probably more secure too, though, so whatever. JDon77. Okay. So now, hopefully my whitelist works. So that's updated. So now let's see. I don't know how long it takes for that to go through. I am on the whitelist. Let me on the server. Hold on. I'll have to play with whitelist. It's been a while. For now, for the time being, because I don't feel like messing with this, and I'll fix it later. And I'll try to teach you guys later once I figure it out. Let's just do false. Okay. Refresh. Join. There's no whitelist anymore. I disabled it. Probably. Fine. Let's put it back. I'm struggling with it. Yes, I'm struggling with it, but I'll get it eventually. Let me make sure that's all I need. Hold on. Wait. I think I do remember something. Whitelist. Let's go ahead and set that to false. I mean to true. I think you have to do a server refresh, but I don't remember. Right here. And there's a command. Reload. Let's see, set, no, that's not what I want. Config. There are 18 pages of help. Really? Hold up. Minecraft update server whitelist. So apparently it's whitelist reload. Okay, so maybe now I can join. Let's see. Yay! No, mod rejection. Oh, I have hats. Wait, I have hats or the server? The server has hats. I didn't take out the hats mod. You son of a bitch. All of that just to get... Now we have to stop it. I didn't want to stop it, but I have to stop it. Okay. I hate the hats mod, if you don't know. And so I have written this nice little script, or this little thing right here, that lets me type this in. Find in this directory, or below it, a file whose name starts with or contains hat and ends in .jar. And remove it. Okay. Why? Why do I have this? Well, I have this because I hate the hats mod. And if we go, there's a hats directory right there too that I hate. If we go to mods, there are two hats mods, hat stand and hats, and I hate them. And I want to remove both of them. So, I don't know what just happened there. Oh, I copied something on accident. My bad. Let's try this. And run it. And it ran. And we hit LS. And look! No more hat mods. Because I hate hats. I actually love hats in real life. I just hate them in Minecraft. They're silliness. There we go. Control AD. And we're out of there. So now we just got to wait on that to start back up. And we should be able to finally join with the whitelist. So remember, you got to use that strange format. And by the way, I got the information for that off of, where is that thing? Right. I'm going to give credit where credit is due. I googled how to set up a whitelist. briancarnell.com. Let's see if that's showing on the stream right now. Yes. This is where I got the info for how to create a whitelist. As far as the UUIDs, they link directly to one. The one they link to is this Minecraft UUID site. You just plug in a username, click convert, and it gives you the UUIDs. So I don't know if trimmed can be used or not. I just used the whole one right there. So what you'll want to do is when you're setting up the whitelist, you'll want to get the player's name, get their UUID, set up your whitelist with this format, and you're going to want to do one of these little bracket modules for each player that's going to be on that whitelist. And then once that's done, this command, thanks to Fink from the Minecraft forums, whitelist reload is how we do it without restarting our server. Okay? So there you have it, folks. There's all that fun stuff. Now it's going to be a minute before this server is going to refresh again. So, how long am I on the records here? Let's take a look. Videos, maybe movies. It's getting about time for me to go help my wife for a minute, so I need to check. And we're going to do some more stuff tonight, but I am going to have to take a brief moment, people on the stream, and go help the wife out with some stuff tonight. She's got some... Alright, we're at 40 minutes on our server build-up screen. So there you go, guys. If nothing else, I've shown you how to take a server and get the Feed the Beast client installed, get it updated, get it running, get a whitelist set up, change your world gen to biomes o'plenty, and how we'll go back to some cam mode for a second. There you go. There's my lovely. But yeah, got a server set up, whitelist, biomes o'plenty, hard difficulty, a lot of good stuff. If you have any problems setting it up, you can leave a comment on the video, and I'll be happy to try to answer it for you. A lot of the stuff that I talked about doing and that I was doing, I actually have set up in a script that I can run. Almost everything in Linux can be set up in a shell script. It's very powerful. It's a great way to possibly dip your toes in the water for a little coding. Be careful about doing things as root. You can seriously damage your server and then have to wipe it and reinstall everything. We're going to be doing the public server soon. Obviously, we're still willing to take on more people. If we get enough pledges and people are willing to donate enough, I'll jump the server up from 8 gigs of RAM to 16 gigs of RAM. But, we'll see how that all pans out for right now. So, as always, guys, if you liked it, like it. If you'd like to see more like it, click that subscribe button. Leave me a comment either way. Let me know what you think that I did good, what you think I did terrible. Maybe you don't like seeing my ugly face. I don't blame you. It's kind of hideous. Kind of like that guy in the Allstate commercials. Who is she? Or wait, that's State Farm. Anyways, yeah. You guys be good to one another. I'll catch you next time. Laters.